want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Madmen of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. You know why I'm looking down at my screen on my phone?
Because you don't want to make eye contact?
Well, besides that. I'm looking down on my screen on my phone so I can hit share, man, because sharing is caring, not caring.
Nice.
Sharing is caring. You know what I'm saying? We don't want no
talk about all
Karens.
that.
No, we don't want no Karens around here.
Tonight we don't want any Karens around.
No, not at all. I got my hand squishy. You know what, man? I'm thankful for this.
Yes.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my hand squishy.
I got my little
hand squishy today.
that I squeeze.
Nice. Are you thankful for it?
I'm very thankful for that. Gives you something to play with.
This is that time of year, man. It's that time of year for us to at least here in America anyway, to ideally reflect on the things we're thankful for. You know, we just had Thanksgiving last week as we record this here, and yeah, man. I mean, you know, we got some thankfulness happening here, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole idea of this. Like, this is one of those times of year where it is scheduled to be thankful. And I know I wanted to get in more deeply about thankfulness and gratitude, but I mean, it just seems appropriate to get into something that is on the positive note, because you know sometimes we got to dig into the mud and do the other stuff that we talk about. But we're gonna bring it up today. We're gonna bring that energy up and talk about some thankfulness and gratitude and be on the up and up.
Absolutely. 12:20 a.m. on the radio dial in a Mile High City and webs everywhere. As you may or may not know, we record our shows and we do them on Mondays, and then that's our hour longs that broadcast 7 or 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings and 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and then we come back on Tuesdays. We do like the abbreviated versions on social media, just on live, just a shortened version of the hour show, and all those kind of good things, man. So we doing it to it, brother.
That's right. We're here. We're trying to live our passion. We're trying to be of use to the world and do things that maybe you might be thankful and grateful for. I mean, that we're here for you guys. I mean, he and I have these conversations just by ourselves all the time anyway, and figure might as well share this with the world. Maybe you get something out of it other than just thinking we're cray-cray.
Wait a minute, man. Wait. Hold up, man. Hold on. Wait a minute. First and foremost, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And this guy right here, I am Jason B. Kendrick.
Of the masculinity, baby. That's right. We're doing it.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you. And on tonight's episode, this episode of thankfulness and gratefulness.
Yeah.
So when we talk about thankfulness,
what are you thankful for, man?
Well, you know, in my life, it seems like because of a lot of the outer influences and things, there's a lot of things I can be ungrateful for. I can be dissatisfied with. But what I've found in my life, when I take a minute, take a breath, everything in my life I can be thankful for, because even the hard times teach me things and give me that lesson I need to grow as a person and as a man to become even more thankful. And when I look back, you know, being at the advanced age that I am now, I can look back on a lot of the hard times and go, you know what, that was probably some of the best things that happened to me, because those are the things that helped me learn that I could get through things, that life isn't as painful as I thought it was as a child. And a lot of these things, just, you got to take a breath and move forward. And so for me right now, I mean, I'm thankful for the show. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for Monday nights and our recording session. I'm thankful for the fact that we're on the air, we're on the interwebs everywhere, and we get to do this for you, me, and all the peoples out in the world. How about you, sir? What are you thankful for today?
Yeah. Man, you know, I'm kind of to the point where I recognize that things could be better, but I'm thankful deeply that they're not worse. Like I mean, things are pretty good. Somebody wishes they had my problems. You know, I into someone fairly passed away in the last week. But even in that, just the thankfulness that came out of that experience, and even in someone's passing, you can be thankful that you knew them and that you had a chance to love them and have impact and influence in lives and all those kind of good things. And so yeah, man, we can't act like things are perfect, but that doesn't have anything to do with being we do have.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know one of my favorite kind of tales is the farmer. The farmer's out in the field, whatnot, and then his horse runs away, and all the neighbors go, "Oh, what bad luck!" He's like, "Oh, I don't know, bad luck, good luck, who knows?" And then a couple days later, the horse comes back with like 3 or 4 other horses. They're like, "Oh, wow, that's such good luck." He's like, "Oh, good luck, bad luck, who knows?" And then his son's out trying to break one of the new horses, and then he falls off and breaks his leg. They're like, "Oh, what bad luck!" He's like, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" And then 2 days later, the army comes in and tries to conscript a young boy, but he can't go. He's got a broken leg. And they're like, "Oh, what good luck." And the farmer's like, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" And a lot of times in life, that's how everything is. There's not anything intrinsically good or bad. I know it sounds bad, but life is intrinsically meaningless. It's all about the meaning you give to it. And for a lot of us, we kind of have a negative mindset and we give most things a negative um, perspective. But you can look at everything, even the things that we would consider negative, and go, you know what, I can be thankful for that, because even if I had a flat tire, maybe that stopped me from getting in an accident, or maybe that slowed me down, or maybe the person who stopped to help me was somebody I needed to meet. We never really know. And so keeping in mind that this too shall pass is a good motto to have, because it will keep you humble in the good times and keep you going in the bad times.
Yeah. I'm kind of to the point now where, yeah, even looking back at the bad times in life and the things that weren't great, I'm still kind of thankful for a lot of those things that I went through, because having gone through those things, I wouldn't be kind of where I am today in terms of what life's experiences are, and all those things kind of molded me into who I am today. And so, even in my man journey, man, just the wounds that I've had in life and the scars that they've left behind. I'm thankful for the definition and the character that they provide me. I got the scar in the middle of my forehead because I ran into a trash dumpster when I was, I don't know, like 6 or 7 or something like that. And that was a gaping wound when it happened, and here 40 something years later, I'm like, well, I mean, I'm thankful for the scar I got, because it taught me not to play chase and look behind you. It taught me to look at where you're going when you're running and play games. So if nothing else, I got some wisdom from even the scars that I had in my life, man. So thankful for that, man.
Yeah, chicks do scars, man. You got to have a few scars. It looks like you've been out in the world, like you had a few battles and you survived.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's when I tell people that's my Navy. I got that when I was a Navy SEAL, and I was parachuting into Dang and trying to
Hmm.
rescue a POW, and I
Hmm.
landed on a barbed wire fence right on the perimeter of the POW camp, and I landed face first on my forehead, and then I went in there and
Hmm.
I rescued the POW. Yeah, 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 that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. And then what really happened was you fell out of bed and woke up.
Hey, speaking of thankful, I'm thankful for guess somebody popped in with a comment, man.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Janine.
one
What's
and
happening, girl?
only Miss Janine down there. She got a lot to be thankful. I'm watching
Yeah.
you, and man, she got a lot to be thankful for in this life, man. She's got a whole lot of new good things happening, and in life, man, we gotta be thankful for the good, and somehow we got to find a way to be thankful for the bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is I think a lot of times we've spent too much time focusing on what we consider bad and the things that we consider trials and tribulations. But the more you focus on it, the more you create it. That's kind of how our brains work. That's kind of how the world works. Is what you focus on and what you put your energy on is what you create, what you attract to yourself. So being of a thankful and grateful mindset,
Yeah.
if you can find something to be grateful for, even in those things that are quote unquote bad, will help you to get through them faster, and will help you to build that muscle so that you're less likely to go into the negative mindset. You're less likely to get into depression and all the negative sides, because you can look at it and go, well, I don't really like this right now, but I know this is for the best and there's some blessing in this. So I can at least take this with a little bit of grace and a little bit of pride in myself, that I can get through whatever this tribulation is at this time.
Yeah, and I think as one of those things that when you live life with the sense of thankfulness, um, then you see things in a whole different way. You see the daylight, not the shadows. I mean, and you see the good things. I mean, wow, we got all kinds of folks chiming in here, man.
Where y'all
Shoot,
been
we're
at?
talking about the real key is learning to be in the difficult times. You are right, man. To be, it's real easy to celebrate on the mountaintop. When we're in life, man, we got to find a way to celebrate and to recognize good things even in the valleys, because in the valleys is where all the life is. That's where the river is, that's where the vegetation is. That's where the flow is, in the valleys of life. So we got to be able to appreciate the valleys and not just for the mountaintop experiences in order to be thankful for the things we have in life.
Yeah, and it's having that presence of mind, being able to take a breath and be present in the moment is much more. It makes you much more capable to be thankful in the moment. Because yeah, there are those times where we don't want it to rain, so we want to go play golf. There's those times we don't want it to snow because we got work and things to do. There's those times where whatever it is, X, Y, or Z, we would prefer those things not to happen. But without those things, all the good things couldn't happen. This life is about contrast. Being a human being is all about contrast. If everything was lightness and goodness, you would not know what lightness or goodness is. You need that shadow and that darkness to be able to understand what those other things are. And so having the night and the day, having the yin and the yang, having those things that you can have a contrast so you can see. Because I mean, tall would not be tall without short. Big would not be big without small. All of these things need each other. So it's kind of like, I mean, shoot, cops and robbers, we used to play that as kids. There had to be some cops to chase the robbers, and there had to be some robbers for the cops to have somebody to chase. Same sort of thing goes in life. I mean, it's just the way it is. You got to have those contrasts in life and being able to go, you know what, this gives me something to do. This gives me a purpose in life, even if it may seem like I'm dealing with quote unquote negative things or darkness or things that some people may consider evil or bad or whatever. But those are always perspectives. That's always just, the only difference between any one person at any time is time and opportunity or time and circumstance. Because you can be in the exact same situation at some point as somebody else that you were judging before. And I guarantee you, if you're judging that person, you probably find yourself in a similar situation pretty quick because it's your opportunity to change that around and learn not to judge them or yourself. It's all about the contrast
Yeah.
and learning to look at the good
One
things.
one of our faithful listeners slash viewers is also how's difficulty forcing you to take a step back and reflect. Being to reflect on all those things, man, is huge, man. And if I'm not mistaken, she's just had a little bit of loss in her life, but yet she's on here talking about um talking about just being able to reflect. And this is kind of thing, man, that in our culture, man, it's hugely important, man. It's so important because we live in a place of abundance, man. And
Do
speaking
we
of
need to
abundance, man, I think we
build some
should.
abundance in the world? Yes, sir. So we're going to take a little break, pause for the
Absolutely,
cause,
man.
and build some abundance in the world. This is Mad Men and Masculinity on KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back. Yeah, we got to get that cable for you, man. You got a delay. Now you just froze.
Boom. How's it on your side, man? It's pretty
You're pretty pixelated, and you got there's a
breaking up
delay,
on
and
mine.
yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like what I see on my side is what you're seeing at me on your side. Got to get that cable, man.
Oh
So
man.
thanks for watching behind the scenes with us. We're still always striving to be better and to be thankful that the internet works as well as it does. So we'll actually be posting. We're trying a
Yeah.
new recording thing that should fix all these issues, and we'll post that after the fact so you can go back and watch it without the glitches.
Yeah, so if you're watching us now, we do basically essentially a roughly 13-ish minute segments. And then we normally get quiet and then we come back and do 13. We do 4 of those. And then our producer, super producer Nikki Nicole, shout out to her. Hope she feels better. Then she'll take all of that and she'll basically pull out those 13 segments and edit it together with all the breaks then she puts together the 60-minute show. So right now, this is technically kind of behind the scenes ish. But in terms of the big broadcast. So anyhow.
All right, sir, bring us back.
All right. And we're back. The Madmen of Masculinity, 12:20 a.m. on the Mile High City. On the interwebs everywhere. Shout out Crawford Broadcasting. Shout out super producer Nikki Nicole. All of our folks up at Crawford Broadcasting. We love our family and man, we love doing this thing, man. This is good stuff. Talking about gratitude, man. I'm thankful for that.
Yes, sir. Thankful for all the gratitude and gratefulness I got in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm thankful.
What do you think about the whole idea that we got to have a holiday to recognize it?
Well, I thought about that beforehand. Yeah, I thought about that beforehand. Like it's almost like Thanksgiving. Sometimes to me, it's kind of like Valentine's Day. Like I'm glad we have a time to come in that we're focused on being grateful and thankful for all the stuff we have in our lives. But also like Valentine's Day, sometimes it's like, do you need a day to remind you to be thankful and to be loving and all those things? Or can you maybe remind yourself daily, be present in the moment and be more thankful and more loving as we go on and not need all the marketing reminders, as it were. But you know what? It's a good opportunity no matter. Sometimes we need those reminders, whether we're just out in the world doing our thing, we're on the grind. And sometimes it's good to have that day to be like, you know what? I'm taking a breath, I'm taking a break, and to be thankful, to be loving, to have this moment to go, oh yeah, that's right. There's more to life than just work and paying bills. How about you, sir?
Yeah, I think, I totally agree, man. The fact that we have to have a holiday, I mean, we should live that throughout the year. I think Valentine's is a great, kind of a great analogy, a great parallel, something we should be living out throughout the year. But, I mean, at least we take a pause for the cause and at least we do acknowledge it, once a year anyway. But I think it's one of those holidays that, for the most part, as Americans, generally speaking, we all get behind it, regardless of your background, regardless of your beliefs, and regardless of all that kind of stuff. Generally speaking, it's one of those holidays where we all kind of come together and we celebrate the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at some of just the kind of quantum physics of it, the energetics of it, on those days, there's much more gratefulness, there's much more gratitude, there's much more love being broadcast out in the world, so that everybody can feel that. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, while we're out there having our food and being around each other and being grateful and thankful, we're spreading that love out. So then you think about all the families and all the people doing that. I mean, it's a great day to be on the world because of all the extra love and energy is being put out there. And it's something that you can do every day, but it's nice to have that specific day to come together that you set aside, especially here in the West in America. We don't get a lot of the extra holidays and then the time off and stuff, so it's nice to have that day set aside so we can be very grateful and thankful for all the stuff that we do have, all the stuff we're gonna have, and all the stuff we did have.
And we do have so much, man. I mean, I think that's why it's so difficult, man. In our culture, we do have a lot. We have abundance. I mean, not even abundance. We almost have beyond abundance. We have excess in our culture. We do. We don't even realize how good we have it. Several years ago, probably was it 8-9 years ago at this point. I went to Africa on a mission trip kind of experience, and went to Rwanda, man, and just kind of saw a lot of stuff there. And just in terms of what day-to-day life looks like. Got to see a lot of the genocide stuff that happened there, and man, it was right in your face. Like there's no hiding it. And man, when I remember when I got back from that trip, we were going like 12 days, I think. When I got back from that trip, just because of the way we traveled back in terms of the timing and all that kind of stuff, we were literally traveling for about a day and a half, almost 2 days, through Africa up to Europe and then back over here to the US. And when I got back home, I mean, the very first thing I did was I got in my shower. And the very first thing when I got in my shower, I just started crying. I just started bawling, man, because, here I am. The very first thing I do is go jump in my shower with essentially unlimited water, with my 15 shower settings on the shower. Um, and I have that option. I got that option to go into a grocery store 24 hours a day. I can basically eat anything I want 24 hours a day, any given day of the week. And nowadays, you can do that on your fingertips on a phone, and so so there was some of it was guilt, some of it was, gratitude, thankfulness, and some of it was just like the reality shock of everything that I just experienced, man. But we have so much. I mean, I don't think it would take a lot for me to complain at a restaurant again about something little.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you talk about countries like that, like Rwanda and Kenya and Ethiopia and stuff like that, they have so much less. But one thing they have an abundance of, far exceeding what most of us here in the West have, is gratefulness and gratitude. Like they're happy they
Hmm.
just woke up. They're happy with
Hmm.
every glass of water. They're happy with every little scrap of food they get. But I think you're right. We're so in excess of abundance. We have so much stuff that we get jaded and cynical, and we don't realize how good we have it. And one of those statistics that most people don't realize, especially with our social media and pushing all of this, you need to be a six-figure earner, you need to be a millionaire, you need to drive this car and have this mansion. If you make over $35,000 a year worldwide, you are part of the 1%. You are part of the 1%
Hmm.
earners in the world. You are rich. So when we're sitting here thinking, oh, well, I don't make enough, and I get it. For most of us out here, especially on the west side of the U.S., so rent's going up, property prices are going up, all this other stuff. I get it. But worldwide, we are the 1%. And we do have an excess of things to be grateful for. And I think one of the things that's going on now, like with the minimalist movement, I think is a good thing, because as you pare down and you get less and less stuff, you lighten your load and you become more and more grateful for the few things you do have. And you start to take care of those things like we used to back in the day. Grandpa used to be out there every day washing his car and waxing it and changing the oil and checking the tires. And he kept that car for 30 years. Nowadays, we run through cars in a couple years and don't care about it, don't take care of it because we have so much. We have such an abundance of options. And since we talk so much about relationships, I think a lot of times that's part of the reasons relationships are so hard now. Is we don't have that thankful and grateful nature in our relationships because there's such an abundance of options. I mean, like you said, on your phone, there's a million people on your phone just waiting to swipe on. So maybe turn the phone off and narrow down your options, and you'll be much more grateful of what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't think you could have described my experience much better in terms of when I got back from that, and I realized how thankful they were. I mean, everywhere we went, I mean, man, they were singing and dancing and all that other kind of stuff. Man, they just had a sense of joy that we didn't have. They had quite honestly a sense of peace. Ironically, having a full on genocide, a couple decades ago. Um, I mean, that we didn't have, and I think that experience also taught me how little I ideally need in order to be happy, and a lot of it comes from comparison. I think a lot of the reasons that it's hard for us to be thankful is because we do compare what we have versus what somebody else has or perceives to have. And again, social media is kind of a lot of that, and so a lot of it is comparison. Do I really, really, really need a big, huge house that I don't even experience all of the rooms? Like, I don't even, do I really need that? Do I really need a bunch of stuff that I need a big, huge storage unit to keep it in? That, I mean, these are just questions that I kind of grappled with when I got back. And so, just seeing how thankful they were with as relatively little, quote unquote, that they had, it really woke me up. And just the idea that, we call that the third world, when really a third of the world lives like us. Most of the world lives on $1 a day. And so, in our country, that I think just to celebrate Thanksgiving, fine. If it has to be a holiday and we do it once a year, hopefully people do it well. But if that's what it takes, then so be it. But it is kind of hard in our culture to be thankful because of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I think it's interesting that camping is so popular, especially in the West, is because and I'm not talking about glamping. I'm not talking about y'all with your fifth wheels and all that stuff. Your apartments on wheels and houses on wheels you take with you. I'm talking about hiking out and camping and carrying all this stuff with you and packing everything back out. When you do those sort of things, it makes you so grateful for what you have at home, but it also shows you how simple you can actually live. Like all you need is a little shelter and the ability to make fire, and a little bit of food. Which, if you're really going out hardcore, you can go out and hunt your food and go fishing and do those things, and that really makes you grateful for what you got that day, how you created that meal that day, the fact that you have a small shelter that gets you out of the weather if you need it. But also, once you get done with those days out camping, and you get home and you get in your nice soft bed, you got the nice hot water heater, and you got that shower like you're talking about, it makes you really grateful for that. So it especially for us here in the West, it's imperative for us to travel more, get out in nature more, and if you're feeling depressed, and if you're feeling like you're ungrateful for what you have, go do something else and get a different experience to show you what all you do have, what you do have to be grateful for.
Yeah. Pop up that last comment there, man. She says, this is Elizabeth is a rock star today. I think many in this country have never had experiences outside of this country or even experiences in the poorest areas of our country. I think you're absolutely correct. And most people have lived in their cocoon or their bubble. And that being said, I think it's important for our this young generation of young kids today, for them to experience some different things, get out of the suburbs or whatever, get into some places where it's uncomfortable, go down and hand out coats at the homeless shelter, and hand out bottles of water, or go feed the homeless or whatever, go serve somewhere. Serving somewhere is a great way to be thankful for what you have, especially serving people in some kind of capacity that they don't have the things that you do have. So I mean, I think those kind of things are amazing to gain perspective. Humility is absolutely humbling.
Yeah, and it's incumbent upon us, especially if we want to be a well-rounded human being, is to be able to embrace that shadow side and those things that we may consider quote unquote bad or not good, and to be able to look at those things as just part of the whole and be a more holistic human being. And also, to that point, it will humble you and give you a different perspective, so that you're not just thinking that, oh, well, my life's so bad because I'm late on my credit card payment, or my mortgage is going up, or my interest payments are going crazy, or whatever the thing is, when you can have something else to compare to that will show you how abundant you really are. If you make, like I said before, you make over 35,000 a year, you're part of the 1%. You are rich as in compared to majority of countries out there. So taking those times to actually accept that and understand that and go, you know what, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I do have abundance of things to be grateful for.
It'd be abundant right now.
What's that?
Let's do an abundant break.
Abundance break.
Absolutely. We're going to do an abundance break here on the Madmen of Masculinity, 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City. We'll be right back. Boom. Pause for the cause. Get some hydration up in you. Elizabeth Core Stanley, you are rocking it. Janine, thank you so much. Y'all are crushing it.
Yeah, Janine's out there in Florida now. She don't know nothing about no snow.
I know, for real. We about to get some too. She ain't even sweating that.
You don't even know.
Nope, she doing her thing. She like, those are Colorado problems. Those aren't Florida problems.
No, but you got mosquitoes and alligators, so you have fun with that.
Pythons. All right. And we're back, boys and girls. Back. Oh yeah, that's right. We back. That's right. We back. Madmen of Masculinity, KLDC 1220 on the AM side in the Mile High City and on the interwebs everywhere.
We're live and direct.
Everywhere. Jason B. Kendrick, Kirk M. Samuels doing our Thug Thizzle, doing our thing. You know what I'm saying?
We're very grateful that you're here with us. We're very grateful that we have this opportunity out here on the air to spread this word of gratitude, gratefulness, and thankfulness. I say, preach it, brother.
I got some pain in the butt people in my life. I got some people in my life that I have to force myself to be thankful for.
If your hemorrhoid folks?
No. Not that person. Well, yeah, actually, that person,
the hemorrhoidal folks.
But man, I'm thankful for the grind, man. I'm thankful. Spoke recently about being thankful for the growth, gratitude in the growth, gratitude in the grind, and gratitude in the grief, and just being able to, be thankful in all of those circumstances. In all circumstances, be thankful, man. And that's hugely important, man. Hugely important. You know what else I think is important is not only being thankful, but I think the expression of that thankfulness, the gratitude is an attitude. The expression, the outward pouring of that is appreciation. And I think what we need to do more of as a people, as a culture, as a society, is to appreciate people, appreciate things, to let people know that you appreciate them. Let people know that you appreciate things that they do, who they are, give people flowers while they can still smell them, but to show that outpouring of the thankfulness, the outpouring of the gratitude in some form of appreciation.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I mean, there was a great quote in a Good Will Hunting movie by Robin Williams. You got to be grateful for the bad times because they wake you up to the good things you weren't paying attention to, and that's kind of part of our whole point of this is looking at your life through a point of gratitude because you can be grateful for anything, but it's you got to shift the mindset and start creating that gratitude muscle, that thankfulness muscle, and start saying being thankful for things and saying thank you. And I mean, you start off small. You start off with little things like thank you for waking me up this morning, and I'm thankful that I'm breathing air. I'm thankful I got coffee in the morning. I'm thankful I got a job to go to. I'm thankful I'm not sleeping on the streets and I'm in a warm bed. You start with the little things, and that'll open your eyes up to the bigger things, and even sometimes the little things are the big things. I know when I talk to a lot of people at the older folks at the end of their life, they talk about how it was the little things we think of as mundane, making breakfast for the kids and sitting down to dinner and doing those little things, washing dishes with your partner. Those are the things you remember the most. Those are the things that we don't think of as important, but are the things that you remember the most as you get older and get into later years.
And again, I think expressing that to each other, especially this holiday season, is kind of a good time to reflect. It's when a lot of people do reflect on those kind of things. But I think it's a good time, a great year. It's always a great day to tell somebody I appreciate you. I mean, when people, whether somebody does something for you, obviously, but then just who people are in your life, and just I think it's a great time of year. It's always a great day to just let somebody know thank you. I appreciate you. We all love going to Chick-fil-A. You say thank you, they say my pleasure. I mean, it's it's one of those things that it's an expression of that appreciation, man. And you always just feel welcome there. And so I think, man, this season, maybe it'd be great if we just started to tell people and to make people feel appreciated for who they are, make people feel seen and recognized. And like I said, give people flowers while they can still smell them.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, trigger alert on this thankfulness and gratefulness episode. If for some reason, and I'm just going to put this in air quotes, if for some reason you have struggled in relationships, maybe there's a lack of gratefulness and gratitude and expression of gratitude to your partner. Maybe there's too much expectation. Maybe there's too much you shoulda, you coulda, you didn't do versus I'm thankful that you went shopping. I'm thankful you made dinner. I'm thankful you cleaned the house. I'm thankful you didn't smack me when I was acting cray-cray the other day. I'm thankful for you being in my life. Maybe, just maybe, there could be something to think about if you've been struggling in relationships in the past. Just saying.
Man, I didn't know you was gonna go out like that, man. I didn't know we was going put your turn signal on next time, man. I didn't even know we was turning that way, man. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming out of nowhere, man. Man, you just whipped a U-turn real quick. There wasn't even like a median right there. There wasn't nothing. You just middle of the road, just whipped a U-turn, and
that was one of those GPS. That was one of those GPS. Yeah. Make a U-turn. Make a U-turn.
Turn here. No, that was good. But and I do think, man, even especially in relationships, man, yeah, man, if we can just start to, let the other person in our lives know, people in our lives in general, but especially a significant other. If we could just let them know that we appreciate, yeah, sometimes they might be cray-cray, sometimes they might be knuckleheads, sometimes they might not be perfect, but if we can just affirm people, show appreciation and gratitude, man, that could probably do a whole lot in the context of relationships.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before, but it's something to bring up again, especially under the guise of thankfulness and gratefulness, is that love is a choice, especially when it comes to relationships. And so is gratitude and thankfulness. you can choose to be grateful for that person. You can choose to be thankful for that person or whatever you have in your life, or you can choose to be expectant and unthankful and dismissive and all those things. These are all choices, but choosing to be thankful, choosing to be grateful will definitely, it's kind of that, you get more flies with honey than the other thing. So
Mm-hmm.
what are we putting out in the world? Because you get back what you put out. So are we putting out thankfulness and gratitude in the world? Are we telling these people that we are thankful for them? I mean, there's even trainings nowadays where they say change your language. Instead of saying I'm sorry, say thank you. Instead of saying I'm sorry I'm late, thank you for waiting for me. I'm sorry this happened or whatever. Say thank you for allowing this to happen, or thank you for supporting me. Thank you for this. And it's just a shift in mindset, shift in vocabulary, but it has immeasurable exponential effects when you choose to look at life from that glasses half full sort of mindset.
Yeah, because aren't people? I mean, it's probably a duh kind of question. Maybe it's rhetorical. I don't know, but I would imagine just across the board, people are more likely to continue on whatever the good behavior is when you affirm that good behavior, and when they feel appreciated for the thing that they've done and who they are as a person. Not even a whatever they call it, where quid pro quo. Not even where it's like you got to do something to get it. But just, I mean, especially when people do something, but just for who people are. Everybody's struggling with something. Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something, right? So most people, man, just to show up in any given day is a challenge.
Yep.
So to acknowledge that somebody just showed up and to just thank somebody just for showing up. If you're a boss, if you have employees, man, I mean, it could be a profound act to just tell somebody thank you for being here today. If you're in a relationship, if you got family, I mean, if you got whatever it is, man, I mean, just thanking somebody just for being here, just for showing up, just for making it, man, that could change somebody's day. That could change somebody's life.
Yeah, I mean, little things like that have saved people from canceling themselves and taking themselves out, because there's been people, I've seen the stories. They say, well, if one person asks me how my day is, if one person acknowledges me today, that I won't do it. And those are the things we don't think about. I mean, there's statistics out there now that 8% of the population is suffering from some sort of mental illness, depression, anxiety, bipolarism, whatever. And so for your own safety, if nothing else, but also for the simple fact that you being gracious and having grace and showing grace to somebody else. I saw a lady today. I stopped into a 7-Eleven and I wanted to give this lady an applause and everything, because this older gentleman was so upset that when he pumped his gas at the gas pump, his receipt didn't print out. And he had to walk all the way into the 7-Eleven. Then he had to wait in line. And then he just started getting all angry and going off. And she's like, she addressed it as best she could. Then finally she's like, you know what? Bless you, sir. You have a blessed day. I'm sorry, whatever is going on with you. Here you go. And I was like, well handled. Good for you.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to meet aggression and anger with, aggression and anger. You want to meet it with an understanding and love, because like Kirk said, everybody's having a hard time. Everybody's got stuff they got going on. So, meet it with a little bit of love and compassion, because at least for one thing, you're not escalating it. You're diffusing the situation, and you can appreciate that person's having a hard time.
I got chewed out by somebody for sending them a Thanksgiving text.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. That was crazy.
I was just like, wow, like chewed out. And I was like, word? Okay. And I was going to reply right back, and I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been worse than what I
would have escalated.
And I eventually kind of came back with phone works both ways, my man. Like if you're disappointed that you got a text at Thanksgiving and the last text was at Father's Day or whatever, text the brother too. But then I was like, man, I hope you're doing okay. And then I had somebody else that's a mutual connection. I was like, is he doing okay? And turns out, that guy apparently is going through some stuff in life. And so everybody's going through something, man. And, and sometimes that anger, to your point, can be misdirected. And I don't think that should stop us from still, just spreading as much love, spreading as much joy, spreading as much gratitude as possible. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too, the ability to respond. Responsibility is the ability to respond instead of react. And that's what a lot of the issues we see in the world today is everybody just reacts. So basically, somebody comes at you crossways, you react crossways. They give you anger, you respond with anger, you just mirror back. But if you are an adult, you are responsible. You have the ability to respond. You can stop, take a breath, and go, oh, this person is having issues. It's not about me, even though it's directed at me. I can give them grace. I can be grateful for the fact that this person felt safe enough to express their anger towards me, and I can choose not to accept it and deflect it and just say, hey, I'm sorry you're having a hard time. Can I help you with something? I get it. It's rough out there. What can I do to help, instead of exacerbating it and add fuel to the fire? Which, I mean, I get it. Sometimes like attracts like, and sometimes you're in that mood, and then that person is attracted to you because they're in the same mood. But you can still respond. You still have that ability to go, hang on, I don't need to escalate this and make it worse. Maybe I can just stop, take a breath, count to 10, and go, okay, we're both having a bad day. Maybe we can work together and make it a better day. How about that?
We can work together and make better.
What's that? We got to take some breaks.
We can work together and make this break work better.
I'm gonna make this break work. It's the Mad Men of Masculinity taking a break on KLDC, 1220 a.m. in the Mile High. We'll be right back.
Noise.
I had to bring in something about relationships. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we talk about.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, I don't have any man nectar today, so I got some
you just
alkaline
hydrating?
water. Yeah, I'm just hydrating with some alkaline water.
I got my 9.5 in my.
You think alkaline water is like a real thing? You think it's like any?
Well, I know the studies say that an alkaline body is more resistant to disease and cancer and things like that. And most of the stuff that we put in our body is acid, coffee and soda and all those things. So adding something that's more alkaline than acidic it can't hurt. So I'm erring on the side of can't hurt.
pH of 9.5 at the time of bottling. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know.
I guess some strips you want to check it out and see if it's truth in advertising.
Yeah, I don't know. And they got this little thing down here at the bottom. I don't know what that whole deal is, but anyhow, whatever, man. Yeah,
hey, at least you're choosing healthier drinks.
I am. I'm choosing healthier. I need to. I went and got a blood draw today for some labs, and when she was drawing the blood, I said, "Did it come out like straight gravy?" Because that's pretty much all I've been eating for the past 4 days is gravy. I mean, for real.
Those results can come back. Whoop whoop whoop. Not human.
Like,
whoop,
man,
whoop, whoop. Not human.
For real. Come back like a straight up turkey. All right, here we go. And we back.
Would you call me a turkey?
We call him jive turkey. You jive turkey.
I had me some jive turkey and dressing.
Jive turkey.
Man,
I'm telling you.
I've had turkey and dressing for almost a week now. It's been delicious.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I've been having a bunch, but it's all good stuff, man. I am thankful for that, man. We sit around and we just have this abundance of food where it's like you got to force people to take leftovers home and all that kind of stuff. Those are good problems, and I've kind of
good problems to have.
I've landed on this saying, I guess, or a philosophy as much as possible. I try to say, man, if this is the worst problem I have right now, I'm doing okay. Yeah. Because most of the things that go wrong or whatever in a bad moment, when it comes down to it, it's like, man, if this really is the worst thing, like if the worst part, like so far, I mean, obviously the day ain't over, even though it's 5 o'clock and it feels like it's 5:90 o'clock. The time changed, but either way, when stuff goes bad, that when I think back of the today up to now, I'm like, even my worst part of my today, man, if that's the worst thing I have going on in life, I'm doing it.
Yeah, and this one of the things I like to talk about quite a bit is mindset, because really reality is relative to your mindset and your perspective of what's going on. And when you got a booty mindset, you're going to have a booty reality. So we got to take the time to build that gratitude muscle, that happiness muscle, that positive reality muscle, so that you can have those responsible moments and go, I need to respond differently here. Or, this isn't what I think it is, or maybe I don't have all the information, so I shouldn't judge X, Y, and Z as bad or whatever. I have this brain. I got 2 halves of this big old 8-pound head. in here, this gray matter, that I can choose to respond differently and not just react to the world in a negative, acidic way. Put some
Yeah.
alkaline thoughts in there, like your alkaline water. Get some happy alkaline thoughts in the world.
Boom. Get some alkaline thoughts. I'm digging that. Neutralize some stuff. Speaking of neutralizing, I think men, speaking to men, I think we need to do a better job at appreciating each other. I mean, I think women are doing a better job than men. Sometimes I think it goes overboard, but with just appreciating us as men, like appreciating another guy, reaching out to another guy, and all these, and just letting the guy know that he's seen and he's known and he's thought of, and just also again in the past week or so, we had another lone male with a weapon go in and had a mass casualty down in the Springs. And it's like, men are hurting, man. I mean, if you're not paying attention, every single one of these, without exception, is a single male, like a lone male is effectively, or two, if you go way back to Columbine. But, it's a male that has anger and is going through something, and the only recourse that he sees, obviously I'm not justifying it, but in his case the only recourse is to lash out and to go after helpless people. And so men are hurting, man, and men got to be better at affirming and lifting up and reaching out to and seeing other men.
Yeah. And one of the best ways is one of the things that we do here, and we talk about quite a bit, but it's one of the things we do together. We do with our men's groups, but even sometimes we do here on the air. We admit when things are hard. We admit when we're struggling. We admit, like, we tell our stories all the time. I mean, Kirk tells his story, I tell my story. Like, it's not all been gravy boats and rainbows and butterflies and all that. It has been hard. But looking back, I choose to look at it as a positive thing, but also the fact that when you get to express it, you release that pressure, you release that for yourself, but you also let some other guy know that he's not alone, because most of us are living lives of quiet desperation by ourselves, stewing in our own juices. We have no outlet for that pressure. It just turns into a pressure cooker. Then you got people exploding, trying to find some release for that energy, trying to find some place to put that. And if they just had an outlet, they just had somebody reach out, if they just had somebody they felt safe talking to, they could release that pressure and then not have to exhort to these extreme measures of trying to go out and kill the world and take people out and destroy things. They could actually find a healthy way and be more responsible with their energy and their mindset. And a lot of that comes from being brave enough to go, hey, guess what? I'm struggling. Maybe you're struggling too. We can work this out together.
Yeah. And again, us as guys, man, we need to check on a brother. We need to check on the guy. I mean, we need to, just out of the blue, man. Just we need to reach out, let a guy know, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you fighting the battle. We as guys, we fight battles that we don't talk about. We fight battles that largely speaking, we fight them in silence. You're right, it is a pressure cooker. And when I have my Instapot, before I can open it up, I got to turn that valve and let out the steam, man, to let out the pressure, or it won't even unlock. And that's kind of part of the maybe it's part of the man journey, anything, but it's definitely cultural. I think in a Western culture, because these things, it doesn't seem to happen in the rest of the world. All these mass casualties, the way they are, the frequency here in America. I don't blame weapons. I blame lonely, hopeless, angry men who misdirect their anger at hopeless groups of people. And I think it's unfortunate, but us as guys, man, we need to do a better job at reaching out to one another and letting each other know that we appreciate each other, man. I mean, that could go a long way.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll jump back on the relationship bandwagon a little bit. Ladies, if your man is silent, if he is shut down, he's dealing with things, and you badgering him about what's going on probably is not going to open him up. Maybe showing a little bit of respect, a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of appreciation. Like, I see you're quiet. I see you're kind of shut down. Obviously, you're dealing with something. I'm here if you want to talk about it. I'm here, if you want some help. Or I see you're struggling. Maybe you need to go talk to your boys and talk this out, because obviously there's some turmoil going on inside. Because a lot of times, a great analogy is A lot of men look like, Loch Ness. We look like this nice, big, calm lake on the surface. But then you stick your head under the water, there's the Loch Ness monster and all this stuff churning up the water and all this chaos and all these different things. And so sometimes when a guy looks all calm on the surface, is because he's dealing with stuff underneath. And being able to appreciate that he's struggling with something and not just badger him or be critical and negative, but just be like, hey, I'm here if you need some help. I'm here if you want to talk. If not, I support you getting help and going talking to your boys and finding some support. But just know that sometimes when a man is quiet, when he's silent, when he's shut down, he's just dealing with his stuff. He's digging in his garden, and maybe he's just trying to process. And so, being a safe space for him to process with is, a great way to engender a healthy, lasting relationship. Being able to be somebody who can go, I appreciate that you're struggling, and I guarantee if you appreciate his struggle, he's going to appreciate your struggle a lot more, and then you guys can appreciate struggling together.
Yeah. And being able to talk about those things, man, being able to open up about those struggles. Hey, I'm having a hard day, having a hard time, I'm having a hard week, whatever it is. And ideally you're in a situation where you can verbalize that to somebody or people, and people will respond accordingly. And not just say, that's cool.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing. Um, and ideally you can be in a circle of people or surrounded by people that can help fill your cup, man, that can help release the pressure, the steam from your Instant Pot, so that you can open up. That's a great metaphor, man. Help release that steam, then you'll be able to turn that lid and pull off the lid and open up on the pressure cooker. I mean,
Yeah.
man, we could probably do something with that. That's a great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and guys, if you're not quite ready to open up and talk about those things, go to the gym, go for a walk, go camping, go do something that you feel safe doing to release that pressure. Because I mean, there's lots of things we as guys can do. We can go shooting, we can go, go to the gym, we can hit the bag, we can do something physical to help release some of that pressure. But what you don't want to do is just sit in it and stew in it for too long. I understand we as men tend to process silently, we process internally, but there comes a point where you're just chewing and regurgitating and just making a mess in there. You need to get out and do something physical, do something to release that energy so that you become a safer, more healthy man. So if you're in the midst of it, talk to somebody. If you can't talk to somebody, go do something. At least try to do something to release some of that pressure. Because if you let that pressure build too much, it's either going to self-cancel yourself, might go out and do something horrible to somebody else, or I mean, I know when I'm having bad days, sometimes it's just that one time, like they can smell it. You're having a bad day, and that one dude has to come and start poking, pushing buttons, and trying to poke the bear. You know, that's that energy. So if you can expel that, you'll be much happier and healthier. And there are much healthier ways to deal with those issues than just taking it internally and turning it inward on yourself and imploding.
And I'll bring my plane in for a landing on the whole idea. Something that I've done in the past, and it's a great exercise to do with somebody. You can do it alone. You can also do it with somebody else. But if you set a timer on your phone, I'm talking 3 minutes. Set a 5 minute timer on your phone, um, and just literally either verbally or writing it down or something like that, just spend that time that you set on your phone, that timer, listing anything small, big, anything you can to be thankful for. I mean, that can change your physiology. It does change your physiology, definitely your mentality. It changes your neurology and your psychology for sure. But just being able to, again, and you'd be surprised if you set a timer for 3 minutes and just say, for 3 minutes, ready to go. I'm just going to list things that I am thankful for. Anything. I mean, you can even get silly with it. I'm thankful for this haircut I'm about to get on Friday. Whatever it is. And just do that for 3 minutes, five. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. Um, no longer than like 7 minutes or something. I mean, that can be a huge thing to change your whole outlook on your day, maybe even outlook on life, things that you've gone through, your past, and all those kinds of things. But the attitude of gratitude, can not only change your life, but it can change the world, and it can help you get through any moment. It can help you get through any up or down.
Yeah, and there's some people out in the world that do great work with this. One of my favorites is Byron Katie. She's got "Loving What Is" one of her books. And if you're one of those that you're not quite sure what to do or how to process, or you're going through something, one of her things she has, you go to thework.com, and she has the worksheet. She has a worksheet for the work, and what's great about it is it allows you to be as human as you can possibly be. You get as petty as you can be, and it has all these questions, all these things, and you write down, and it asks you to be as human and as petty and as judgmental and all as you can be, so that you have a release. You can get that out. You write all that stuff down, and just be as nasty and as callous as you want to be about whoever this person is or whatever the issue is. That vents that pressure, it gets that out, and then she has some other exercise to help that turn around, so you can see where your responsibility is in that. But it's a great exercise for learning how to love what is happening in your life, and learn to have gratitude for no matter what's going on, because there's always something to be grateful for. Even if it's the worst thing in the world, there's something that will light you up and show you the good things you've been missing, or show you things that you can be thankful and grateful for. And so there's always a way to change that attitude to gratitude. So as for us, we are grateful you're here. We're grateful you're listening. We're grateful you're liking and subscribing on YouTube. We're grateful you guys out in the Mile High City are listening and participating with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, Madmen out. Peace.